What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only Tesla stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down why Tesla is doing quite well from not just the standpoint of its stock price, but also fundamentally. We're seeing some very big improvements. They're doing very well when it comes to deliveries for January of 2023 in both China and Germany, and also they did very well when it comes to deliveries coming out of Giga Shanghai. So I'm going to break down all the numbers for you guys, talk about why they're doing so well compared to other companies, and also a very big piece of news affecting Elon Musk that just came out. And before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks plus free level 2 data with $0 in commission trading. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 11 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Tesla is in a pretty nice place right now. If you look at the fact that Tesla was pushing up and starting to test this very key supply zone between this 198 to 200 level, Tesla's in a very good place to retest it, in my opinion. I also believe that what's very interesting is the entire market is essentially squeezing, and the fundamentals of the market are not really matching with the price action we're seeing. But Tesla is very different. It's a big exception to the market. We could actually juxtapose it because of the fact that Tesla has the fundamental backing that actually makes the current valuation of it very, very nice and very close. I also state this because we're seeing some very, very big revelations that were kind of forecasted by Elon Musk in the past. So going forward, let's actually talk about this. Some data came out. Tesla's German and Chinese deliveries are up 912% and 10% in January. So that's very, very awesome news in my opinion. This is something that Elon Musk mentioned in the past, the expansion of Tesla and also the growth that's going to be coming in Germany. I'm talking about this because in Germany, we saw 900+% growth to about 4,241 vehicles, and they now make up 2.4% of all new registrations in Germany. Very, very impressive stuff. And on top of that, looking at what's going on in China, the sales are up 18%. That's absolutely incredible. The sales of Chinese made electric vehicles. This, I think, includes both the domestic and exports that came out of Giga Shanghai. Very, very impressive stuff. But in just China alone, the sales are up over 10% for just January 2023. Now, in total, Tesla actually sold 66,000 China made EVs in January itself, according to this association. Very, very impressive stuff because they're up about 18% from December when they sold about 55,796. And that's also 10% higher versus January of last year. Very, very impressive. And it becomes even more impressive when you start to see how other EVs did. The Shanghai plant in December had some cuts every now and then, and there were actually cuts about a third from November. So that's very interesting. And then in December, we had an extended Lunar New Year holiday. And despite that, Tesla still did very, very well. I'm going to break down even more reasons why. So one of the things I noticed is that when you look at the data for the Model Y inventory levels, we saw this sharp decrease once the price cuts were announced in the USA. And people were very excited. They were very eager to buy these cars. I believe the Model Y now qualifies for another EV tax credit, which is just amazing news for Tesla. And you can see right here, the inventory levels are dropping significantly. I'm calling this out because of the fact that we're seeing lots of investors becoming very, very interested in Tesla's performance. And when you start to see data like this, it really shows how efficient, how intelligent it was for Tesla to cut prices. Now, was Tesla in a situation where they had to do that? That's obviously debatable, but at the end of the day, even though it did lead to Tesla's share price dropping, at least initially, it's a very good move. We're actually seeing more sales being boosted. And I'm saying this looking at some US data, and I can't really promise you that this is exactly what's happening with the Chinese inventory levels. But the bottom line is, I could assume or come to the presumption that something very similar is probably happening in China, or it did happen once they announced the price cuts. And I believe it's actually working in Tesla's favor. So, in essence, that was a very intelligent move by Elon Musk and also Tesla as a company because it actually helped Tesla come out on top. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, once again, Tesla sold 66,000 vehicles in January despite the Chinese New Year. That's so impressive. But this becomes even more impressive when you start to see how other companies were doing. According to this source and many others as well, except for Li Auto, NIO, and Xpeng's January vehicle deliveries decline, it's important to note that Tesla did very well. We actually have another article right here about how Tesla's sales are up in China, and all these big companies, they did not do too well. Now, I want to note I'm not trying to criticize these companies. I'm actually very bullish on NIO, Li Auto, and even Xpeng, especially because of Kathy Wood. She's very bullish as well. NIO has amazing battery swap integrations as well. So I think they're all awesome companies, right? My intention is not to bash them. But the reason I'm calling them out is because they struggled. They struggled big time. It's not showing me, letting me access it, but I remember all the numbers. Xpeng was actually down 60%. Their deliveries were down 60%. NIOs were down almost 50%. Pretty big drops in their deliveries month over month. Li Autos was also down pretty big. So we saw big declines. Specifically for NIO, back in January 2022, we got about 9,652 deliveries. And remember, this is January 2022. For January 2023, we got 8,500. So that's actually less than what they got in January. And on top of that, when you look at NIO's typical numbers, this is their deliveries chart from 2022. The endings here are October, November, and December. When you guys look at this, you are going to notice that in October, NIO did 10,000 deliveries, December 14,000. I'm sorry, no, sorry. October, then November they did 14,000, and in December they did 15,000. There we go, 15,000 deliveries for December. And then I just showed you guys that for January 2023, they only did 8,500. So then the bar would be like way down here. They're pretty intelligent for not showing them next to each other because it would not look too good. And once again, I don't mean to criticize them for that. I think they're a very awesome company, but they had a lot of struggles that were outside of their control. So in China, during a time like this, we're seeing individuals saving at a much higher rate than we've ever seen in so many years. Right now in China, there's not much trust in the banking system. Many Chinese people are just in a very dire state. They're saving lots of money amidst all the lockdowns, and their economy is in a very difficult place for demand to increase. And on top of that, I want to note the fact that the lockdowns were absolutely horrendous, and what's going on in China involving the real estate sector is pretty difficult because of the fact that many of the major developers have actually defaulted on their debt. So we could go on forever about this, but I just want to note that there are hardships in China. And this in turn has led to the demand to slow down in the country. And despite all the hardships, despite the fact that in January of 2023, we had Lunar New Year, the country was closed down for almost half of the month, despite the fact that NIO and all these very awesome companies with huge potential, despite the fact that they struggled in the month of January, despite all this going on, Tesla killed it. Tesla did so well. Like when you see the context of this, you're even more impressed at how well their team is doing over there. Giga Shanghai is a monster, and their rate of deliveries and production is just so huge. And I believe the growth we're seeing in this company is going to be very incredible as years go on. I also want to note the fact that in China, they had to transition from the phase of lockdowns to full production, and that obviously takes time. There's a lot of problem solving that's going to be involved, and that's the reason why Elon Musk saw this, and he actually wanted a lot of the managers from China to actually visit the Fremont Gigafactory because of the fact that they have very, very good insights on how they can actually improve and become a lot more efficient. That's something that Elon Musk mentioned, and it actually helped them big time in Fremont. So, just a fun fact, I think that's just amazing, amazing news, and Tesla's doing very well from this end. Another major piece of news is the fact that a jury found Elon Musk and Tesla not liable in securities fraud trial. So, for the trial, Elon Musk was not liable despite the funding secured tweets. So, in my opinion, this is awesome news for Tesla investors. It's going to make people less stressed out. A lot of weight just came off of our shoulders because no matter what company you're from, if your CEO is on trial for potential securities fraud, it's not going to be good for the company, for its overall outlook, for the way others see the company, for major investors. And yet, Elon Musk is not liable. So that's a very, very good piece of news for us. Now, this does not mean that Elon Musk's times in court are essentially over. I believe the guy's going to be in and out of court, but this is just one big win for us. And this one big win is really just the start of the improvement in the sentiment amongst many investors, because many investors started to turn their back on Elon Musk. They started saying that he shouldn't be CEO, we should find a new CEO. And their reasoning behind it was the fact that he was selling those Tesla shares, but he did vow to not sell anymore until 2025 at least. So that's a good thing about Elon Musk. But the bottom line is, this is more good news for Tesla. We're getting good deliveries. Elon Musk was found not guilty. He was not necessarily liable for securities fraud. Awesome, awesome news. I consider this amazing for Tesla stock. Now, when it comes to the share price, obviously on the daily charts, we actually have a very bullish looking setup because of the fact that the MACD is just wide open. We have this very nice gradual growth as we are approaching the 200 resistance, which is actually a supply zone. Now, what's good about it is we are getting very close to the 200 EMA. And this is something that Tesla has had a tendency of testing many times in the past. Tesla's actually broken above it many times. So if the trend continues, which it most likely can, I could see Tesla getting all the way up there. The only things that could slow Tesla down right now would be how the overall market is performing. We might see the market just pull back a little bit, but we could get a big bounce right after. And besides that, I mean, we really just have CPI, and there isn't really a whole lot that's going to cause this thing to just tumble down really hard. Now, CPI is important too, so don't forget about that. It's going to be on Valentine's Day. But until then, we have time, and I think Tesla's in a very nice state. So I'm very impressed by their numbers. That was very awesome to see. And I really believe that this is just the beginning, because as time goes on, the company is going to continue to make some very intelligent business decisions. I can't wait to see what happens in Mexico, what happens in potentially Indonesia or other countries all over the world, as we are going to see more and more of these Teslas everywhere. And we're going to continue to see very amazing growth, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to the whole bear market, I'm talking on a much, much larger scale. I want to note the fact that Elon Musk told everyone that, look, yes, Tesla stock could rally, but you have to be very careful because of the Fed and the current macroeconomic situation. But then he told everyone at the same time, even though the short term is unpredictable, the long term is still very bullish. And he is confident Tesla's going to go to all time highs, and it's going to break the record for the largest company on the planet. And I believe he's going to be right about that. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Not financial advice, by the way. But I'm so bullish on Tesla. I'm a huge bull long term. I want to make that very clear. I know there have been times where I talked about this thing maybe like coming down on some days, or I was very apprehensive because of major events. And there were instances where Tesla did come down just a little bit, but those are more like just my short term, super short term projections. Once in a while, pieces of news come out. Once in a while, bad data could come out, like a high jobs report or higher than expected CPI, for example, or just things like that. The bottom line is, yes, there may be fluctuations here and there for the short term. It happens. It's okay. But for the long term, nothing has changed, in my opinion, for Tesla. If anything, the company is just getting better, and I'm still a massive, massive bull. And as long as we stay convicted and we never give up, I believe our best days are yet to come. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great rest of the day, And please be ready, because I believe more big news, more good news is going to come for this company. We just have to be patient. Thank you, Tesla to the moon, because the long-term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.